Before we get into today's episode, I want to share something that I'm really excited about. If you've been listening for a while and you're ready to stop just understanding this stuff and actually move through it, I have a course coming and I cannot wait to get it into your hands. It's called Breaking the Emotional Eating Cycle, and it's the first thing I've created that takes you through the actual psychology of why you eat the way you do. Not the food, not the rules, the parts of you underneath all of it, and why they're doing what they're doing. That's where things actually change. But here's what I'm most excited about. Once you're in the course, you can submit your anonymous questions for me to answer right here on the podcast every single week. Women on the wait list get first access when doors open and founding member pricing, which means the lowest price this course will ever be. The link is in the show notes. Go add your name. Okay, let's get into it. Welcome to The Self-Led Woman. This is a podcast about emotional eating, the experiences that shape our relationships with food, and the path back to self-leadership. These conversations go beneath behavior, held with deep respect for the wisdom of the body and the ways it learned to cope, adapt, and survive. And when we can peel back those layers and meet the parts of ourselves that need care, we begin to see that food was never the problem, and we can return to who we really are. I'm your host, Megan Darnell. Let's dive right in. You know those moments where you catch yourself in the mirror and there's nothing actually wrong or different than it was yesterday, but suddenly you notice you're scanning your body, you're checking. It might be your stomach, it might be your skin, it might be your face. And there's this quiet commentary running in the background. It's not loud necessarily, but it's familiar. And it might start with things like, you look tired, you should fix this, or how did you let this get like that? And I'm sure there's a part of you that knows that this isn't really about your body. Like you can see the pattern and you know that it maybe gets worse when you're overwhelmed or when you're stressed or when you're comparing yourself. But it still gets you. It changes how you feel in your body, how you show up, what you wear, how comfortable you feel in being seen. And you can hold both things at once. You can understand it, yet you're still impacted by it. You can listen to something like this and think, that's exactly what I do. And then a few hours later, you're back at it again. The gap between what you know and what you do can be exhausting. At some point, you've probably had that moment or that thought where you thought, I can't keep doing this forever. This is exhausting. Maybe after a night where you felt full or frustrated and you realize how much space this is taking up in your head. In that moment, it feels clear, like something has to change, but then life just keeps on lifing. Things keep moving. The intensity might fade. You might feel like yourself again. There's days where you have more confidence, so you tell yourself, it's not that bad, or I'll work on it one day, or I'll come back to this. But that one day becomes a place that you live in because it feels responsible. It feels like you're not ignoring it, you're just postponing it, but nothing actually changes. And this is the part that people don't talk about. Like you're not stuck because you lack understanding or because you haven't tried or that you don't care. Like if anything, you care a great deal, but you're stuck in this loop because you figure or you rationalize that this is still something I can live with. It's uncomfortable, but it's manageable. You can still function, you can still show up, you can still be the version of you everyone else sees. This is a trap. People will stay in places where they're not happy, and this can be relationships, this can be jobs, because it's not that painful. But it is. It's still affecting you every single day. But when nothing in your system has been forced to change, it gets subtle. You might just say things like, I'll do when I'm ready, or I'm not ready yet. But underneath, it's actually, this hasn't become something I feel I have to change yet. And those are very different things, because one keeps you waiting and the other keeps you repeating the same thing over and over again. That big dramatic, I'm so fed up with this, it doesn't usually come. It's much quieter than that. It's just another week of thinking about your body, another week of food taking up too much space, another week of I'll start again tomorrow. Because nothing extreme happens. You stay, just like the job or the relationship where you know it's not right, but you continue to stay there because you can. And over time, this just becomes your normal, not because you love it, but you've adapted to it. And what gets missed here is the actual cost of that. It's not loud or obvious. It's just a constant background drain. Kind of like, when you've got your phone and you're like, why is my battery running out so quick? But you've got 50 other apps still open, 50 other pages still open, some of them from a year ago. And when something is that constant, it's easy to minimize it. It's in the background. You can't really see it, but it's draining your battery every day. You say things like, it's not that bad, I can handle it, or I just need to do X, Y, Z. But it's like, if it were that easy, everyone would have done that already. And everyone would have solved their problems. This is affecting the daily experience of yourself. It already matters. I wish people would understand that. I've said this before, but when people say it's not that painful or I'll just deal with it one day, it's like you don't understand. If you deal with it now, there is life to be lived on the other side of that. There is life to be lived without the constant drain of your battery every day with these seemingly small things, but they are affecting you. You don't need this to get worse or for you to have a big dramatic, I've had enough moment for this to be valid. This is where awareness becomes a trap because we rationalize ourselves out of it. We understand all of it, but we'll still stay stuck in it. That doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It means that something in you doesn't feel safe enough yet to do things differently. Or often, in the case of emotional eating, people say, I'll deal with it one day, or they brush it off. Because truly, what's underneath is something that requires your attention, and people are afraid of the depths of that. People are afraid that they're going to get sucked down into some sort of portal or that they won't be able to handle it, which is completely untrue, but we have parts of us that stay there or that say things to us like, oh, it's not that bad yet, or I could deal with this, because that keeps you safe. But this is the part I want to gently challenge. If you've been saying, I'll deal with this one day, how long have you been saying that? For most people, this isn't new. It's been there a while, months, sometimes years, sometimes decades. What if the version of you that you are waiting to become, the one who is finally ready, isn't some completely different version of you? What if it's just you right now, just being a little more honest about what this is actually costing you? Not in a way that pressures you or forces you, but in a way that lets you see you don't need to hit a breaking point for this to matter. For a lot of women, the shift doesn't come from everything falling apart. It comes from a much quieter moment of you don't actually want another year of this. And letting that be enough. If you're listening to this and you know this isn't new for you and you're tired of living in that gap between knowing and doing, this is the work that I do with my clients inside Release and Reclaim. We don't just talk about the behavior, we work with what's actually driving it. You're not stuck managing it forever. There's life to be lived on the other side of this, and it's better than anything you could have ever imagined. If that feels like the next step for you, you can book a consultation. The link is in the show notes. It's a 30-minute conversation for us to map out what's going on in your system, to understand it so then you know what the steps will be moving forward. No, this podcast is for education and reflection only. It is not a substitute for therapy or healthcare. If this episode brought things up for you and you need support, please reach out to a trained therapy practitioner or health professional in your area. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode resonated, please follow or subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, or share it with someone who might benefit from hearing it. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Megan Darnell Therapy. If you share the episode or want to let me know what landed for you, you're always welcome to message or tag me. I love hearing from you guys. Until next time, I'm Megan Darnell, and this is The Self-Led Woman.